Hello, everyone. I am Splash. I hope you're all having a beautiful day. This is a very special episode of High 2020 by 2019. We're recording this on a video version and the audio version for the podcast, for the vlog, and for IGTV. So let's just go with it. Those that don't know me, I am Splash. I am the owner of Splash Painting, paint contractor here in beautiful Utah. I also am a podcast host of No Bullshit Blue Collar Podcast and the host of Coffee with Contractors. Had to think about that for a minute, man. We don't do that one that often, but it's still there. It's something we're still going to be doing. I'm amped up. If you can't tell, I hope you are. So hang on to your seats. I always say this, but I mean it. Wear your seatbelts, but unbuckle those harnesses right now, and let's just fucking get into it. Like my shirt says, let that shit go. But I'm going to add another word. Let that fucking shit go. 2019 has passed, but let's talk about it. Let's just jump in to a splash. I'm going to be very open and honest with you all because I want you to be open and honest with yourself in this. Because a lot of people are afraid of looking back at what they think happened and then realizing what actually happened. So my wife is very into meditation. And we do meditate together, but she's a lot better than I am. But she got me that book, and we wrote some stuff down. We listened to another podcast this morning. Her name's Yoga Girl. I love her podcast, and she's very spiritual. She's a yoga instructor. She's more than that. It's just a lot of everything. But she's very inspirational to myself. And those that don't know, like, I will always give kudos to those people, but I don't coat tell people. I will use some of the things, and if I do use some of those things, I'm going to incorporate those. So I'm going to jump in. The next few things I'm going to tell you is kind of what she did. Write your stuff down, let it go, get up for a minute, dance. But before we start, I want to start this with this. If you're not driving, before you listen to this, take a deep breath down in your stomach, and then exhale. Do that a few times. I've already done it because I've meditated for a while this morning. But let's just jump into it. January for 2019 Splash was a slow month. We decided to be slow. Sometime in February, I lost one of my favorite painters I've had to work for me. He moved to South Dakota. March came around. I knew we were booked out for the whole summer. We were going to hire a lot of people. Excuse me. I was going to hire a lot of people, so we bought a trailer. I had a fellow Instagrammer come down to Utah, work with me. That's always open to anybody. If you want to learn the paint business, not that I'm going to tell you everything 100% that's accurate. I'm going to tell you the Splash way, which is standards of what needs to be met in the business, but hopefully you'll learn. So I made a good friendship with one of my friends that came down, and he worked with me and Phil. And then in that process, my guy Phil left. It was very unfortunate, and I love him to death. He was like a brother to me. He's doing good. He's in school, but it was really hard to lose him with the vision that I had planned. I didn't let it disrupt the vision because I reached out to one of my fellow painters who I trust, someone who I kind of admire, I look at as a mentor to me, and I reached out to him, and without getting into the full conversation, he basically just said, you got to hire people who want to work, who value their time as they do money they're earning. And he recommended going out and getting people that are getting ready to graduate high school, teachers. So we put some ads out on Indeed, and it worked. We were getting a lot of applications. So I started hiring people. And at the end of the day, throughout the year, I'm just not fucking good at managing people. I can teach, I can tell you, but my personality just doesn't fit that need of being a manager that way. So we started subcontracting, which is great. That worked out. That's the goal. That is the goal. I can do that. I can get the business. I mean, we're booked into 2022 almost for bids. But at the end of the day, I can subcontract out and have a crew manager that manages his own crew. I don't need to be there. So that's the goal for 2020. Was it a disappointment? Absolutely not. It really wasn't. In that time, we bought a trailer. We started marketing with it. That brought a lot of business. I launched my website, splashpaintingpro.com. So as a business, we ran for 2 years without having a website. maintain being that busy. Now at the website, it's only doubled what we're doing, which is awesome. So that's why I can subcontract out now. Then the thing came up. My wife asked me yesterday, what one word would describe how 2020 is going to be for you? Because whatever relationship you're in, your goals don't need to be the same as the person that is your best friend or your spouse or your kids. But if you talk about it and you communicate with it, great. Freaking awesome, right? So yes. So my wife asked me, and I'm going to tell you what that is later on, but she bought me this book, and we listened this morning, did our meditation, and wrote stuff down. I'm going to share a little bit with you to kind of give you an idea of how I felt 2020 is. First thing we did was we talked about at a glance, just a quick 2 to 5 minute thing. We didn't move, which is a good thing. We move a lot. We had no major medical conditions, which we're not going to have in 2020 either moving forward. I turned 40. 2019 in a whole was great. There was a lot of learning things that we did. The biggest challenge was going to incorporate my biggest accomplishment. Because my biggest challenge is wanting to grow and maintaining that we had enough people to do that growth and handle that growth for me. So we launched the podcast, No Bullshit Blue Collar, this year. I did the Coffee with Contractors YouTube vlog and podcast. And those are big accomplishments. Don't get me wrong. I'm very grateful that those happened. But when I sit down and I think, what was Splash's biggest accomplishment of the year? This is it. Very personal. I've shared it one time. I've never really shared it because the video got deleted. There's only a live video. I'm going to share this. It's going to be around for a long time. Was this. On a Thursday, I walked into a new builder here in Utah. One of the top 3 builders in the nation. Introduced myself. Told him I was. Told my Instagram handle, my Facebook handle. We didn't have the website. We're still working on it. I got home 2 hours later. The main GC for the corporation called me, asked me to meet with him. So we set up a time. 2 days later, or no, that was Thursday. So it was Monday. We talked. We finally got numbers out. I basically told him this is what we're willing to do the jobs for. And he said, okay. I went on vacation. Hadn't heard from him. Because I hadn't freaking out on vacation. Like, what was going to happen? Got the email while I was on vacation. I'm like, sweet. We're going to meet with him. So I get back and I go out to the neighborhood, and the contractor there is like, this is your neighborhood. You're in charge of it. 140 homes. Once you're done with this, we have another lot. Interiors and exteriors. Wow. Like, I landed a whole neighborhood to myself with one of the biggest builders in Utah. Went home, meditated, was at work the next day, called my wife and said, I need to come home. We need to talk. Really, we need to talk. And I'm not this guy a lot, so I share this with you out of humility because I want you to know that it's okay to have these emotions and to really realize what your accomplishments were. I just started crying to my wife, like tears, like huge, massive tears. And she's like, what happened? And I said, I got to turn down that job offer. We're looking $200,000, $300,000 job. I can have my crew running all year round. No marketing, good money, in and out, make a staple for myself. We had to turn the job down because my crew wasn't ready. Splash Painting was not ready to handle that community of homes. And I would have put our business in a bad situation. I would have put that builder in a bad situation. I would have put those potential or those new homeowners that want their home built in a tough situation. Pause real quick. IGTV followers, if you're listening to this, it's going to end in about 12 seconds. Head over to YouTube or head over to the podcast, No Bullshit Blue Collar, and listen to the rest because IGTV only lets us do a 10-minute video. So head over there to get the rest of the story and what saying goodbye to 2019 was. But that was my biggest accomplishment. My wife supported me in my decision. I called the general contractor and I told him, we're not ready. My crew, as I'm teaching these young men and young women that I have on my team, they're not to the standard that you need. We can get the job done, but I can't get it done in 4 days, 3 days that you want, because I'm still teaching. But that was my biggest accomplishment in 2019. I learned a lot. And I'm still emotional about it sometimes. Because, as I tell my wife, like, I'm just a fucking kid from the streets, man. Like, you think that people use that term in, like, unlike, like, yeah, you went to school, you had a house over your head, and you had family and your mom and dad. Fuck that, I didn't. I grew up in foster care. Bounce around from foster home to foster home, shelter home to shelter home. So when I say I'm a kid from the street, I'm a kid from the street. But let's look at that accomplishment. I didn't ruin my business. I didn't put any employees that I had at that time in a bad situation. I didn't hurt that company who I have the utmost respect for, because at that conversation, he told me he was very grateful. He said, hey, I appreciate you letting me know that. When you're ready, this will have a subdivision for you. It's not always about the money you make in what you do that's going to bring you happiness. It's about learning, doing the right thing, and how that worked. And that was my biggest accomplishment of 2019. Some of the stuff that we talked about is, and I learned last year what I needed to do, the subcontracting part of what I need to do to get to that point. Learning and being cautious. When my wife asked me what my 2020 word was, I was thinking about my 2019 word was cautious. That was my word. I learned to be cautious. I learned to listen to myself. And it took me a while, because in November, I took some time off. And June, July, August, September, we subcontracted the majority of our work out. I took my own homes and then subcontracted the rest out. Because I love painting. Like, I love being on a ladder spraying. It's just like, it's like a little kid. Like, think about being a kid and getting that Christmas present. Like, every time I step on a ladder and I'm getting ready to spray, that feeling is what I feel every day being a painter, being a contractor, being a podcast host, being a dad, being a husband. So my word was cautious. And in November, we had in August, I had an issue with a paint that I don't normally use. And it was a fucking clusterfuck. It really was. And how the homeowner didn't pay us, had an issue with the paint. And nothing had been more. It happens. I know now what happened with the house, and I know how to address it. But that one job really made me realize how cautious I was. We've changed our bid sheets. We've added some things that had loopholes in it. It was such a learning year for me, but it was a cautious year. So, I learned that not everyone in this industry is my friend, and not everyone is going to like your content, and I'm okay with that. You don't need to have everyone love you or like you. Just be someone that they love, and at least appreciate. What was my 2019? What am I grateful for? It's probably cliche, but it's not cliche to me. I'm grateful for my best friend. I'm grateful for this person that I can tell everything to, and sometimes they just listen and shut up. And sometimes they tell me because they know the difference of when I need to hear something and when I just need to spew my craziness. They are really the yin to my yang. And my gratefulness for 2019 is my wife. And I know it's always going to continue. But I think of the growth that I had, it wouldn't have been possible without having that yin to the yang that I throw in this universe. Again, I told you I'm going to share some stuff. And we talked about, like, what did you need to release? What are your forgiveness for? What resources were you? What were your resources? Thing. And then the last thing for 2019 as we get ready to let it go, because we're going to jump into 2020 now, is in one sentence, which equates to one word. What was 2019? 2019 for me was planting seeds. And I was cautious about doing those seeds. I made sure, as a farmer would, that everything was in a row, that I know what I'm capable of and what I'm not capable of. So as we jump into 2020, that goes back to what I talked to you about. What's that one where my wife asked me, Robbie, what's that one? What's 2020 look like? And I told her a few days ago what my 2020 was going to be. I'm not really big being on goals, but I learned last year a lot that like when you actually set things down, write them down, put them on paper, tell people that you care about, that you know care about you, your goals will be a success because that manifestation is going to happen. You are the only one that's in charge of that though. So as I say this with all love, 2019, you were fucking awesome. I could be mad at a lot of things because there wasn't a lot of the financial gains that I thought we were going to have. But the greater gain of 2019 was the knowledge I learned in being cautious and making sure my garden was good, in watering it, putting the right soil down. All those cliches that go with being a good gardener, I did because I was cautious. Hello, 2020. What the fuck is up, 2020? Let me tell you what's up, okay? 2020 is going to be 2020 is going to be extremely high-paced, fun, continued growth because I planted a garden. That's what I did. You know, I talked to some friends about the year, fellow painters and contractors about the year, and a lot of them like, man, dude, like you didn't hit your financial goals. You didn't hit. That's fine. Like honestly, like it's not always about the dollar sign that's in the checking account that you gain happiness from. That's going to happen. I ain't worried about that because it did now, but in the midst of it, it didn't. But 2020, here's my word for 2020. My 2020 is going to be 3 letters. Very simple word. Fit. F-I-T. That is my 2020 word. And that encompasses so many different things of Splash that I'm excited to see because I'm organized, but I'm going to be extremely organized now. I'm talking fit with vacations, fit financially, fit physically. I have goals. I have numbers in my head that I know I'm going to hit. I'm fit to subcontract on my work. I wrote them all down right here. I'm fit to do trade shows. I'm fit to go camping with my family. One of my big goals for 2020 is turning my house into a home for my family and for my kids. One of the biggest achievements I had last year my biggest thing I'm thankful for last year of everything I told you was that my family knows that if they need my attention, they just need to tell me. I've been very good, not great, but I've been very good at knowing when, there's time allocated to my kids. And every second in 2020 makes a matter in my life. Instead of every hour like I was doing 2019, every second matters in 2020. I walk around on my phone a lot. I know it. I don't need to be told it. But I know that when I get home and we do dinner, there's no phones. That's a family rule. None of our kids have them. My wife, myself, there's no phones at the table. We have set times that we communicate with our kids. Like our daughter recently just came home, asked that's how where my wife is right now. She told my daughter told my wife, like, hey, can we go out and go get lunch together? Like that is important to us as parents. When we talk about our goals, I think sometimes like it's really hard to know where that line is. Some of us put too much time into our work. Some of us put too much time into nonsense, too much time into family. It's really hard to balance, and I balance it pretty well, but the balance only goes so far if I'm not doing it, and my family and friends keep me accountable. Even when we're out, my friends like, hey, No splash. I need Robbie. Like, I'm grateful for that. But fit. I'm fit to go to Hawaii. I'm fit to get back into running. I used to be a track person. God, I loved running. It sounds weird, but I did. Like, I got a lot. Like, there's more, but that's just a surface of what I know. And I'm going to sit down right now and write the rest of them in detail. No bullshit, blue collar family. It is going to take off. We are hitting trade shows. We have a clothing line coming out. We have stickers that are being done right now, worked on. We fucking have a tremendous amount of shit going on right now. But my words for 2019, you were cautious. In one sentence, I planted a garden. 2020, I'm fit. The one sentence, I'm fit to do everything I fucking want to achieve. I'm your host, Splash. I hope you find some motivation in this. If you have questions, you know how to reach me. Please make sure you like and subscribe for those that are watching the video of this on YouTube. Coffee Contractors, where you can find us at. Find us on TikTok as well at No Bullshit Blue Collar. Also, we have a phone number. If you don't know, there's a phone number, 501-444-2583. That is the phone line for the podcast, No Bullshit Blue Collar, on all your major platforms. Call us. We're going to play your content. Text me. Whatever stories you want to tell Blue Collar World, we're going to tell them. Like I said, 2020 is filled with a lot of stuff. We're going to get into different tools. I'm going to touch on this real quick so to wrap this up. So you kind of, as we said, we're saying hi to 2020. Let's say hello. There's going to be trade shows. We have a lot of collaborations coming up with other podcasters. There's a lot of good things coming out with the Blue Collar Nation, this Blue Collar family that we have. The clothing line is going to be out there. We're going to be at trade shows. You're going to be able to come up and say hi to me. You're going to be able to take pictures, show me wearing my clothes, show me wearing that blue collar clothes that you have, the stickers. We're going to be on job sites with everybody. As we travel around, I'm going to let people know where we're at. I want to come see you. I want to come say hi. I want to shake your hand. Thank you for being such a hard motherfucking worker. We're going to spotlight you, blue collar people, male, female. There is such a huge, like, family orientedness in this blue collar world that we're going to love. We're going to do testing with tools. We're going to talk about tools. We're going to break in. We're going to bring people onto the podcast from DeWalt, from Stanley. Obviously, I know a lot of painters. We're going to bring those on, but we're going to get into the welders. We're going to get electricians. We're going to do a lot of collaborations with the Electrician Podcast. This is the foundation of the blue collar industry. We are going to make sure that that beacon of light is shown to everybody. We can't do that if you don't promote it. I can only promote it so much. So if there's something you want to hear, if there's a conversation you want to have, there may be times that I listen to that phone message that you send, that phone number. If it's that good, I may text you back to call me on my personal number because I want to bring you live on. I want you to share your stories because right now we're in this fun age. The 20s of 20,000s, let that catch up, like the 1920s. We're in the 2020s. From 2020 to 2029, you're going to see a lot of changes. A lot of those changes are going to happen within the blue collar world. You get to be a part of it. You're already a part of it. But I'm going to incorporate you in this. We're going to have tool companies that are going to get the tools in your hands to get the job done right. Education. We're going to push education back in the school systems. Because it's nonsense that our kids now learning the same shit that we learned without having blue collar stuff in school. I've heard story after story of people saying, oh, my teacher said I'd be nothing but a construction worker, and they're flashing their money on TikTok. Or that they would never amount to anything because they didn't have a mom and dad at home, and they're just no good as a plumber. You know what I say to you? Fuck you, and welcome to the 2020 blue collar world. Because the 20s, we're going to show you a hard work, living a good life, Making the money that you deserve based on your knowledge and hard work is going to get you. That's what we're going to do as a blue collar community. That is what we're going to do. And you're part of it. And I'm excited. I am ecstatic about this. We're going to go tool against tool with some of these companies. Fuck it. You guys know what? I'll let a little out of the bag. You may see competitions nationwide, worldwide, where you plumbers, you electricians, painters of my niche, drywallers, you got to go head to head with the best tools. Whether you're from backcountry USA or from the high-rise valley of Hollywood, California, I don't care. You're going to be able to show what you're capable of. We're going to be able to show those people in high school right now, our kids, some of your grandkids, you don't need that office job. You don't need to be told that you need to go into computers. You need to go into wearing a tie and a shirt, or a shirt, button-up shirt and a fucking tie, and a suit jacket to be successful. Because you are successful. But you can only share that if you share your story. You know the phone number, 501-444-2583. That's actually 501-444-BLUE for blue collar. Text me, send me a message. But I got to wrap this up. That's just a little inkling of what we're going to have. We have some badass collaborations coming up. Thinking of some watches, some earbuds, a lot of shit coming down the line for you blue collars and for myself. 2019 was beautiful, but 2020 and moving forward is going to be magnificent. Remember to meditate. Be nice to everybody. You don't need to like everybody. You don't. I don't like everybody. But by God's will or whatever fucking universe you believe in, love everybody. Because when you show someone love, whatever hate they carry for you dissipates. And they'll move on. Because like hangs with like. And those blue collar people were badass motherfuckers at the end of the day. So much love to you all. DM, comment below, subscribe, like, all that fun shit. For you on the audio, you didn't see me point at the computer screen, but you know what I'm talking about. Spread the word. No Bullshit Blue Collar Podcast. Coffee with Contractors on YouTube. TikTok. No Bullshit Blue Collar. Go follow, like. You never know. I may drop in your DM and say, boom, I got a sticker for you, kids. I got shirts for you. You never know when we're going to drop into your DM and just give you something because we like your style. But until 2020 and moving forward, it's been fun. Thank you, everybody.